I have worked at company a tech company, for 10 years. It's toxic. Toxicity aside, I climbed the corporate ladder and now hold 4 high-level positions. Toxicity has gotten worse recently, to the point where it became a personal attack on me. I informed the CEO that I would be resigning by the end of the day. When a friend of mine from the company called, I changed my resignation to a grievance letter. My formal grievance letter went unanswered for a month. During this time, I applied for jobs. Out of the blue, an executive, Sam, took over one of my 2 departments. Since I created this department years ago, I've run it. Sam lacks experience in this field. HR was notified because of possible retaliation. Sam immediately began making ill-informed changes and demands, most of which I openly rejected. HR intervened, so I conceded to his processes. Sam asked me to reattribute work 2 days into his new position. Because of Sam's new policy, everything in the department had to be approved by him, and there was not enough data to complete the task. Reattributing 2 departments worth of documents. In reply to my lack of data issue, Sam said to contact Kelly. I'd already done so and informed him. He repeated, talk to Kelly. I refused to continue this nonsense. The answer to this is malicious compliance. We use ClickUp. As soon as a task is created, I set up the system to automatically require Sam's approval. As a result, he was assigned to every task. So he would be notified whenever a task was added, modified, edited, moved, or commented on. The team shouldn't work on tasks and then get his approval since it might not be approved, resulting in wasted time. Then I worked overtime to enter about a half of the unreasonable tasks, incomplete information and all. A hellish inbox with 80 emails and even more notifications awaited him. Next morning I found that all the tasks had been reassigned to me without approval. I explained to my new boss that AP couldn't pay bills without his approval and reassigned them back to him. He moved them to complete. They weren't approved. I moved the tasks to in progress and mentioned he should be mindful since completed indicates that nothing more needs to be done. Now here is where I messed up. I missed a few tasks, and they were left incompleted. And in my infinite wisdom, I neglected to inform my team of what I was doing. An honest mistake but a big one. For the next 4 hours, my team was melting down, not understanding if the executive was sending items directly to AP and skipping the process. I wasn't aware. Another executive asked me why his invoice hadn't been paid and why his ClickUp task was ping-ponging. I explained Sam refused to approve the invoice, so I couldn't proceed with the process. My team has 2 daily meetings. My team exploded the next morning. Rightly so. Explaining the situation, I promised to move a few tasks back to in progress, and apologized profusely. The team, while angry, understood what was happening. One member disagreed with the malicious compliance, but we all got on the same page, and I promised to handle all issues. 4 invoices went unpaid after Sam refused to approve them. My CEO shouted at me. I should have gone over Sam and pushed them through. It's not fair to expect me to go over Sam as head of the department. Sam's new position led to this twice. Unpaid invoices nearly shut down 2 departments. Sam politely requested I stop assigning him tasks after 5 days. Having implemented the policy and having HR enforce it, he couldn't handle all the work it created. In addition to Sam being unable to handle a portion of my job, he was arguing over the requirements he put in place, and he was creating policies when he didn't understand the process. It showed that no one really understood how any programs or processes worked. Sam didn't attend the CEO's meeting to resolve the issue. The CEO advised me to continue running the department. There was a new process revealed to everyone during a leadership meeting the next day. I learned about it at the same time as everyone else. The leadership team and HR still need to discuss all process issues. Despite the bottlenecks, it seems that the changes will stick because I'm blamed, despite following their process. As it stands, I still run my department now. While Sam's deadline was unrealistic and the process was a bottleneck, HR knows I went out of my way to make his job difficult, despite simply following his process. She disapproves, though she hasn't reprimanded me. The highlight: ClickUp continues to assign Sam tasks even after I have disabled the automation. Comments added after edit: I didn't expect this to get so much negative attention. I just thought it was a fun malicious compliance story that showed an executive getting a billion notifications and emails along with nearly shutting down 2 departments because he didn't want to listen. My carrot is the promise of my own office overseas that I have already been to and started opening. Not only are there better employee laws, but I don't want to be in the States. It would also be great for my mother because Europe is a lot more disabled friendly in that she wouldn't need a car to go anywhere, and so she could take herself to the store or park and be more independent, get more of her life back. As I said, I have responsibilities. I run the corporate headquarters here in the States among other things. I've made a name here for being one of the 2 people willing to stand up to the CEO and other executives. During my tenure, I've worked on many cultural changes. I've worked good jobs and bad jobs. Offices can be extremely toxic places. I did at one point resign but changed it to a grievance letter after a call from a personal friend in the office, which is why I am where I am now. I would love to make a positive change, and I will always have my team back. So if that means waiting for them to get new jobs, so be it. It's just a job. I am taking a stand and know I could be fired. I noted below that I am not too concerned about that. I do a lot and know that no one knows all that I do, so while no one is irreplaceable, it would be fun for a few months. I am interviewing. And have also asked for my roles and responsibilities and have stopped working overtime. I drew the line. It's up to the company how to respond. Check out my post about the interview I just had, and you'll see why I feel no remorse for using it as a bargaining chip. I figured that post would blow up, not this one. Shows what I know. XDS, I have been told I have Stockholm Syndrome. But in reality, people get comfortable. My mental health is and has always been an issue. I go to therapy and have medication. It runs in the family, and while I'm sure the job doesn't help, my mental health is an issue regardless. I think some of you need to understand what it means to be a caretaker full-time. That puts a lot on someone.